My story today is about how I got into riding the motorcycle and how I stopped riding the motorcycle. I've been working at this Bavarian manufacturer of cars and motorcycles for... I won't say its name aloud because of how the story ends, but there's not too many brands who do both motorcycles and cars in Germany. Anyway, I started working at this mysterious Bavarian manufacturer of cars and motorcycles 11 years ago. That was 2007 at the Hungarian branch office. And my boss's boss, so the managing director of XYZ Hungary moved to Germany after a few years of me going there. And a few years passed and I got a call out of the blue, and he calls me up and says, "Listen, András, we've got a job opportunity for you here in Munich. It's, marketing, IT systems, all the things you like. Why don't you come out and give it a go?" I'm like, "Okay, let's have a look." And he goes, "There is one condition though. To take this job, you need to learn how to ride a motorcycle." I probably haven't been on a bicycle ever since my balls dropped, because I just have this deep-rooted hate for motorcycle seats and bike seats. The bike seats have this little pointy thing coming out in the front. This is where my balls are supposed to go, because I physically, not my world. I moved to Germany, I agreed. I looked for a driving school that would be willing to educate in any other language than Bavarian. Before I even had an apartment, before I had a German bank account, before I had a health insurance, I had my bike license, my motorcycle license. And I don't have any Vespa experience, I don't do that, I haven't been doing that. So first, riding the motorcycle is a really unnatural experience, because once you leave town and you start riding on the roads outside of towns, the wind is gushing at you at 120 kilometers an hour. Trying to rip you off the seat. There is no seat belt. You're just like flipping around in the wind. Everything around you seems to be trying to kill you. And you try to concentrate on not dying. So imagine jumping out of an airplane, and while you're in free fall, you try to solve differential equations. That's what it was for me to ride a motorcycle. And once my colleagues and my buddies saw that I'm getting into it, we went on little tours. I was, of course, slowing everyone down. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, there is this kind of like bikers greet each other on the road. Do we have any bikers here in the Cook Bar tonight? Nice. Yeah.
Motorbike.
Nice. So this biker boost thing, if you've been riding for a good while and you know how to do it well, it looks kind of like this. Now, if you're concentrating on not dying and you try to get it looks something like you identify something is coming at you with like one light. You try to see what kind of bike it is, and you're like getting nervous and like trying to not to lose balance, but you try to sell it like a cool thing, which never works. And having been riding for a while, there's this kind of like high school like hierarchy between riders. So the Harley riders greet nobody. The BMW riders greet Harley riders and other BMW riders. The riders of Japanese brands greet everyone. And nobody greets the Vespa riders. So I was getting a bit, not better, probably more confident, riding. If there's a traffic jam, you ride through the 2 lanes of cars. You get into a biker lifestyle. It's kind of almost like, when I was rehearsing, I promised not to say this, but it's kind of like a simile. It's kind of a hobby like cancer in a good way, sorry to say this. It takes over your life, it becomes your identity. So you end up like buying all this leather gear, and you ride up to like a petrol station, and you make some noise, and everyone's looking at you, and it's your time to shine, and you're like, just filling up. So once as I was gaining more and more confidence, I booked my first overseas ride, which was in the US. It was going to be in California, Arizona, Nevada. The classic midlife crisis thing, Route 366. So I don't know if if you guys noticed, but to me, one of the big differences between US riders and German riders, the US riders would rock up in a t-shirt, just put like a soup bowl on their heads, and they're good to go. The German riders, obviously they have the full airbag suit, which is somehow connected to a car battery and synchronized. They would have the boots, the gloves, they have like this like like kidney strap thing that kind of like protects you from who knows what in 32 degrees. And so I'm more of like the German kind of rider. So taking a pee break ends up being like a 10-minute ordeal. And by the time you're done and everyone else thinks you can ride on, you have to hold on. I need to synchronize my communication system to my navigation. So that was me in the US. I was riding down Route 66. I brought my own gear, but I was renting a motorcycle. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but Route 66 is basically no longer in use. It's not being repaired. Some parts are being closed down for traffic. And when you ride down it, you see probably like 2-3 tractors a day passing you, and 63 other German tourists who rented a Harley and had a midlife crisis. So, again, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the fun thing about riding the motorcycle is going into curves and speed. Now, the two things you don't have in the US is curves and high speed limits. So after 2 days of riding straight ahead on cruise control, I was bored out of my mind. And I started looking left and right off the road, the old Route 66. I was in California riding through the Mojave Desert. And this bike that I was riding on, those of you who know their bikes, is a R1200 GS. It's advertised by marketing monkeys like me as something that's off-road capable. Obviously that would be with off-road tires, not with road tires, but little did I know, I thought, okay, this is like a full-size enduro touring machine. Let's take a route. Let's take it off the road, because I was really bored of just going straight ahead. So in the middle of Mojave Desert, I take a right. I roll off the road. I have good speed going on. There's a sand dune. I fly a little bit over the sand dune, losing some speed. The second sand dune, losing some speed. Everything is fine. The third sand dune, the bike basically flies into it like a knife into butter. It sinks in with like until the axles. And what stopped me from digging myself deeper were these aluminum like boxes, Koffersystem, around the bike. And I was in the middle of the Mojave Desert next to a strip of Route 66 that's no longer in use. The sun was going down. I got off my bike because there was no forward, no backward. And like any true millennial, I took a few photos. The Instagram followers happy. And I was printing the photos, and now this doesn't look as dramatic as it looked back then. But the bike is pretty much, this is probably a better picture, beautiful sunset. It could be in a catalog. I'm in until the axles. My boots were basically sank into the sun. Sand, Jesus. I had offline maps on my phone, so I started looking, where am I, what am I doing? The closest town, Needles, California, is 40 kilometers behind me. No, 40 miles I think, 40 miles it was. I'm in between this railroad track and this old strip of Route 66 that's no longer in use. And I found out through my off-road offline maps that there is an actual freeway that's still in use, like a current highway, if I start walking south. So I started walking in my motorcycle boots and my motorcycle gear, and I reached the highway, and it turns out there's this like truck driver recreation room / shop and fuel station that's guarded by this old lady. She's probably between 60 and deaf somewhere. Her hair was put up in a bun full of creases. She sounded like she's been smoking a deck of cigarettes and downing like half a bottle of whiskey for the past 60 years. And I was so upset. And I honestly was shitting my pants, to be honest. And I walk up to her. The only thing I could bring myself to say is that I'm in trouble. And she looks up completely unfazed, without a bat of an eye, and she's like, "What's wrong, honey?" And tell her I got off the road, I got stuck in sand. She calls up these two guys, and out of them, so literally the next town is 40 miles. And within 15 minutes, 2 separate guys with 2 separate pickup trucks pull up. By this time I'm standing outside the fuel station with my little helmet and talking to a musician from Tennessee and a retired restaurateur from Italy. And you know, it's really easy to talk to people. I guess just standing there with my helmet and these two pickup trucks pull up, the door opens and the guy reaches out, is like, hop on in! So we take the pickup truck and then we start walking towards the motorcycle because obviously in the pickup truck couldn't go there. And once we get there, they look at each other, they look at me, they look at the bike, they look at each other. One guy hops on the bike, he kind of tilts it, he drifts right off of this ditch that I dug myself, and within like 20 seconds, he was back on Route 66. So this is just technology, this is just techniques. He did not accept any money. All he asked for is that I fill up the fuel at the grandma's fuel station, which I did. Fast forward to today, I've done 2 more rides in the US, I've done some enduro trainings, so I probably would be able to get the motorcycle out of the ditch now. I've been riding up and down Bavaria, so I'm living the bike life. I've recently found out that my 11-year employment at this mysterious Bavarian car and motorcycle manufacturer is ending. I cannot tell until the 30th of November at least anything about the circumstances of this. Probably. Basically I found out I have to submit my employee motorcycle by the end of next week. So I'm giving it back on the 19th of October, next Thursday. And once I found this out, I went on a little ride because it was nice weather. And I was like, do you know what? Riding the bike actually sucks. That was like, I was at the red light, the sun was shining at me, I was sweating all the leather clothes, and I was going on the highway, it was cold, it was raining. It's like the helmet is pushing against my wisdom tooth. Everything sucks, it's never comfortable. You know how a child, the child cannot have something what it wants, and the child was like, well, I didn't want it anyway. And that's how I felt, because you identify with so many things. You identify with your cultural heritage, your origin, your living place, your age, your gender, your hobbies, and your work. And I guess I was like, yeah, just take my identity, take who I am. So as I said, I'll be giving back my bike on the 19th, next Thursday. And I don't know what my next employment opportunity will be, whether it requires me to learn Russian or grow a mustache or take up Taekwondo. I'll fully identify with it, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity.